right, so welcome back to the show. This day is the AM Club right here on MX24. Now time for us to dive straight into our news review. And before we get into the topics for today, joining me for the conversation, we've got Kwache Ejsebe, who happens to be the former TESCON KNUST Communication Director. And we've got Christian Tete, who happens to be the NDC Regional Communications Team member. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. How you doing?
By grace and carefulness, we are okay.
We are good, eh?
Right.
Ready for the conversation?
Sure.
Good. So first on our list happens to be a Chief Justice seeks response from Special Prosecutor on removal petition. Now let's establish this because I think yesterday I was having a debate with somebody, and also it was all on social media, whether it is the president who is seeking to remove or impeach the position of the OSP, or whether it is a petition that has been petitioned from the former OSP, who happens to be Mr. Martin Amidu. So people are, dicey a bit on that. First of all, so gentlemen, so let's establish the facts here, right? Is it the president who has sent the petition, or it is the former special prosecutor who sent the petition, and the president decided to just forward the petition back to the Supreme Court?
Okay,
so
right.
I'll start with you.
All right. Thank you, my brother. A very good morning to yourself, the team, and everybody behind the scenes. This is my first time over here, and the welcoming atmosphere is making me feel happy, and I promise you a great time moving forward. As a matter of fact, the government have not been fair to Ghanaians, have not been truthful to us as a state. They consistently cook things for us to consume. Some of them are salted, some of them are not salted. At the end of the day, we might not be fruitful or successful in our discussions in respect of how the government channel issues out.
Okay.
That is informations. The whole issue of fighting corruption in this country is a whole case on its own altogether. And you and I, as citizens, as users we are, we can be able to think around the clock and say and make our own judgment, because the government fails to give us the accurate information.
Yeah.
So whatever the citizens we think becomes the truth. Because at the end of the day, we are in this country, we have informations coming from different angles on different issues. I want to hit on Tisila Dapa's issue, for instance. The sources of the income till today, we have no idea. And consistently, information keeps popping up. So you could see that the government machinery itself is not being able to give us any truth in terms of how things are done in this country. I can mention a lot of things, or a lot of items that you and I are still waiting to hear positive news or real result out of. And we don't have any. So whatever we are thinking today may be the truth, because they fail to give us the accurate information. So whatever we, the citizens, we think of becomes the truth. Yes, so that is it. So it is incumbent on the government to make sure that whatever information they bring to us to consume, it is a fact. You and I know that we were not there.
Yeah.
The appointment that was made to Honorable Kissie Jabeng, the president thought it wise. And the old man that left, the Martin Amidu, he was there. The things or the challenges that he faced as an OSP, we all saw it. How he was trying so hard to fight corruption. How can you give somebody an office that, you are in charge of this office? At the end of the day, as we are seated here, we need camera, we need sound, we need light to perform effectively. So you can't give me a room to sit without all these facilities to work actively. And that was the position of Martin Amidu. He came out complaining, and very bitter complaint vehemently on some of these things. Now, he's out. The onus lies on, he's a man that I like so much, Mr. Kissie Jabeng. And I was so sad as a citizen, as a youth, that this man came out publicly and he was saying a lot of things that touch a lot of people, which some of us that are in the art knows that he was under extreme pressure, right? Or say, I might not be able to quote directly, but or say me ankwanoma. Na obika asem which will say me ankwanoma, it means a lot. You understand? So you could see that there's a lot of pressure on him. So whether it is the former OSP or the president, we don't know. Unless, of course, they want us to what? To think around it and make our judgment, which becomes the truth at the end of the day. So that you sit up and write their wrongs, cross their T's before they come with such information. If not, whatever we think as citizens become the truth. That's just by the way.
Nicely said. Before you come in, let's just establish this. We do have, I've just seen the petition. So this is the Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, the Honorable Kisi. It's dated to him. So the Honorable Kisi Ajabeng, Office of the Special Prosecutor, a petition by Martin Alamisi Amidu for the removal of Honorable Kisi Ajabeng from office as special prosecution pursuant to Section 15 of the Office of the Special Prosecution Act 2017, Act 959. This is to forward to you a copy of petition dated 30th of April 2024, sent to the Office of the President, which was forwarded to the Office of the Honorable Lady Chief Justice on 6th of May 2024. Kindly provide your comments to the matters raised to enable the Honorable Chief Justice determine if a prima facie case has been made out. Thank you, and please accept my compliments. This is from the High Justice Gertrude Saki Tokono, Chief Justice. So, it's established. So that means this was a petition by the former OSP, that's Martin, and it was directed to the president. Now the president has also forwarded it back to the Honorable Chief Justice. Your take on this? Do you think it is still, in fact, not for the president to also come in and talk about it, like, okay, this is from the presidency, but just to forward the whole petition straight to the Chief of Justice? What do you think is the position of the president on this take?
Okay, good morning once again to your cherished viewers on who are watching us today. And I want to say something. My colleague here was kind of beating around the bush when he asked me a straightforward question that, do you think the petition is from the president or is from the special prosecutor? We are all here and we have all seen what is going on in Ghana, what is trending, that it was Martin Amidu who sent the petition to the president for the removal of the OSP. And per the office of the OSP, they have an act that guides the office of the OSP, that is Act 959.
Right.
And when you come to Act 959, it says that before an OSP is removed, it has to be a decision from the president, or probably it has to be a petition from someone who is a Ghanaian. The person has to send the petition to the president, for the president to also petition the Chief Justice before the Chief Justice will set up a committee for it to be heard and other stuff.
More or less, it's a long process.
Yes. So it's not like the president kind of, how do I say it? He doesn't want to shift the blame to him or something. The thing is that by law or per the act, the president has to forward the petition he received from Martin Amidu to the Chief Justice. That is per the OSP
Act.
The Act,
okay.
the Act 959. Sorry. So the president sent the petition. The president received the petition from Mr. Martin Amidu, and within 14 days, per the law, the president has to forward the petition to the Chief Justice. Then the Chief Justice will sit down, set up a committee, have a member of, have one member from the Supreme Court, have one member, have a lawyer who has been in the bar for more than 15 years, and a member who is kind of known to investigate criminal investigation. So the petition was sent to the Chief Justice not because the president doesn't want to be like, oh, I'm the one who appointed, so like I want to, like, yes. Yeah. So it has to, per the law, it has to be sent to the Chief Justice for her to sit down with the committee, set up a committee and investigate or probe into what the petition Martin Amidu sent to the president.
Okay.
And when you go to my graphic online, the petition are in 6 areas. That is, the one that is trending is the procurement of vehicles for the OSP and other staffs. And it was like Martin Amidu in the petition said that the OSP made some breaches per the procurement of vehicles and other office staffs. In Ghana, if we have a public procurement authority that kind of oversees all the procurement in all the public sectors and the public institutions. So if you go contrary to the public procurement authority, you have to be sanctioned. And the law of the OSP Act 959 says that if the OSP acts wrongly to any of the provisions of the acts, he has to be sanctioned. So that's why Martin Amidu, in his case, sent a petition to the president, and the president had to forward it to the chief because the president has no power to just take him out of office or something. Yeah. So he has to take it to the chief justice for the chief justice to sit down, set up a committee, and adhere to. Yes.
Okay.
So I think my brother was just beating around the bush, talking about government, talking about, I don't know what he was saying, but the question was straightforward. Do you think the petition was from government or it was from...
So now I like that. You're asking my questions for me straightforward. I like that. But, you know, with regards to this petition that we are of the view that is from Martin, it's more of... levels accusations of misconduct involving judges and administration of justice at Mr. Ajibin. Do you think specifically that what would a petition entail? Or do you think overall there's more to this than what Ms. Amidu has petitioned already? Do you think there's more to it? And if there is more, what can you prove out of it?
Okay. As a matter of fact, when I mentioned the government, as a matter of fact, my brother seated here, the only division that we have is a fence wall that divides our houses. Just a fence wall. So that shows how close we are. But when it comes to issues of national interest, I think we should be very modest in dealing with national issues. National issues that can affect you and I, our lives, positively or negatively. So if we are looking at it, we must look at it in a holistic manner, such that we might not be affected negatively. I hope you get my point. Good. We are in this country. I was basing my argument on information and how information tends to churn out, or how information are communicated. I hope you understand my point. Good. The OSP, the current Kisi Jabeng, is a legal practitioner, right? Good. The former one, Martin Amidu, is also a legal practitioner, isn't it? Yeah. Good. So they know the up and downs of the law of the OSP office. Look, Martin Amidu has been there. So the question is, why is he complaining so bitter today? Is it that we are looking at this in a larger picture? Is it that Mr. Ejabeng is enjoying some incentive that he never enjoyed because he stated that he was not given the full machinery to function as an OSP. Yeah. So in another term, it might be more or less like an envy. Or he feels that he was not treated fairly. Okay. So there's a lot to it. There is a lot of information that my brother and I are not privy to. The information they bring out is what we consume as citizens. But the question is, what is hidden behind? I hope you understand. Yes. It may be that it's the president that is behind this. Who knows? It may be an if that is behind. Who knows? But at the end of the day, we should sit down quietly and watch as the issue proceeds. So
you feel that there are so many wounds with Mr. Amidu that he feels that
basically
that's the reason why he's coming after.
Because Poladom Otre, right? One of the social I sometimes listen to, but I've stopped because he made similar agitations that who is Kisi Ejabeng to be demanding for security and blah, blah, blah. So at the end of the day, analyzing this as a youth on a political scale, there is more to it. Because how can a social commentator or a journalist for that matter come out publicly to come and what? Lambast the office of the specifically Kise Jabe. So there is more to this. So until we are privy to all the informations, whatever we think as citizens become the truth. I keep saying it day in, day out, because I remember a caption of the Mr. Paul Adumotri's interviews or shows lambasting him. That who is it to demand for this? Who is it to demand for this? At the end of the day, the man is functioning and fighting corruption and corruption-related issues in this country. So at the end of the day, whoever has a problem with this man's office should be looked at carefully. I hope you understand my point. So at the end of the day, look at how this man, I like him so much. He's from the other side, but I like him so much. Do you know the reason why?
You are testifying the fact that he's the best fit for the position, is it?
If this man is allowed and fully equipped, we will see how issues or corruption issues will be dealt with in this country. Practical example, Madam Cecilia Dapa's case.
Yeah,
under
let's get
review.
into that briefly, because there was this whole issue of the OSP office and the IOCO, and then that of the AG too as well. Everybody is making it look as if they are not to be blamed on the fact that who is to investigate into the whole issue. When the case came, the whole thing is about why do we have this sum of money in your house? And also the AG said that, oh well, we are not probing into that. Well, the case has already been cleared by the OSP. So I mean, why should we even come into the IOCO too is saying that, oh no, we are bouncing it back to the OSP. So then, who is best fit as an organization or institution to probe into that? And why don't we have a substantial evidence?
Okay.
Or a substantial, how do I even put it?
A verdict.
Verdict
Yes.
towards it.
You
Because
see,
this is it. And we're asking questions. What is it? And the other side too is that someone feels, or there was a debate that someone feels that, okay, here I am, I'm Kojo Dasebre. I have 10 billion in my house. How I got the 10 billion is none of your business. This is me. So why do I need to be investigated for the 10 billion that
you
I
are a
have?
public official.
Okay.
Look, we are in a confused state. I'll state it again and again because I am a youth. And if something is not going right, I have the right to speak about it. Right? For the safety of citizens, for the safety of my mother in the village, for the safety of every single Ghanaian. The way our country is managed, our country is not in safe hands. Look, once upon a time, we woke up and a public official, Minister of Sanitation, Madam Cecilia Dapa, she might equally be my grandmother. Right? Look at the number of banks we have in this country. They came into office and collapsed 192 of those banks. But after collapsing all these banks, there were still existing banks that they can equally save. Right? I'm drawing a point. You are a public official. The current government, you have held public office for years. I hope you understand my point. So if you are somebody that all your operations are clean, at the end of the day, why do you need to keep a huge sum of money in your house? Right? So over there is a big question mark. I hope you understand.
Yeah.
I'm a businessman. I can't go and keep maybe 200,000 cedis in my house. For what? For what? So over there's a big issue. Now, after these issues was uncovered, I'm just so happy that this particular issue has been uncovered. Do you know why? He's a minister of state, isn't it? And we are in this country, we have had a lot of corruption and corruption-related activities in this country. So if one minister has this amount of money in her room, how more the plenty ministers that Nana Akufo has?
Okay. I'll come back to that, but I want you to come in. And so I have here the project director of the Democracy Project and fellow at CDD Ghana has argued that impeaching Special Prosecutor Kisi Ajebin would undermine public trust in anti-corruption efforts.
Yes.
Dr. John Osai Kwapong suggested that alternative administrative remedies be used to resolve the allegations against Mr. Ajebin. So for him, he feels that this is not the way to go about it. Impeaching him would just erode something. But if there are other ways of, attacking or looking at why people are leveling things against him, we should look through that to remove the special prosecutor from office. It has to be egregious enough, but if there are other administrative remedies to address some of the allegations leveled against him, let's use them rather than first resorting to his removal from office.
Yes.
It doesn't set a good precedent for the fight against corruption and deepens the already eroding public confidence in the fight against corruption. Do you agree to this? Do you think that this is not the way to go about it? I mean, if there are things, or if he's being accused, or there are certain things that have been leveled against him, removing him would destroy something. Do you think so?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. Yeah, so I would say yes, it would be the best thing for the president and the chief justice to come in to do, because looking at the petition Mr. Amedu sent to the president for the removal, for the impeachment of the OSP, I quite remember when the Cecilia Dapa's case came up, the High Court of Ghana sent, I think they went for a court hearing, and the High Court demanded that the OSP should unfreeze the account of Cecilia Dapa, which he refused.
No, I want to hold you there. I don't want us to go back to the Cecilia Dapa
But
issue.
I
mean,
want
it's
to,
part of it. We get
yes,
that.
so I want to establish a point here. The OSP's office is not bigger than the judicial system, the judicial service in Ghana. So if you are being ordered by a whole high court to unfreeze an account of an individual, and you sit in your office and be like, you are not going to unfreeze the account of Cecilia Dapa because you guys are not done with the investigation or whatever you have to do, it's wrong, and it's against our judicial system, because whatever the court says is final, and you as an OSP can't just sit in your office and rule out the rulings of the High Court or the court, because you are just trying to eradicate our judicial system, which is not right constitutionally. He, as a lawyer, or he has been at the bar for like so many years, and I actually did law, and I know about law and other constitutional stuff. So whatever the court says is the final decision.
Nope.
And
Nope.
wait,
Okay.
wait. Yeah, so whatever a court says is the final, unless you don't understand some part, then you send an appeal to the Court of Appeal.
I was about going there.
Yes. So if the court, but he didn't send the case to the Court of Appeal, because if the command is coming from the High Court, you have to oblige to it, or you have to do whatever the High Court tells you to do. If you think you're not satisfied with the rulings of the High Court, you can just appeal it to the next judicial court or something. But the OSP, in its capacity, sat at his office saying that he's not going to unfreeze the account of Cecilia Dapa, saying because the High Court has...
Did he actually say that?
Yes, he said he was not going to unfreeze the account of Cecilia Dapa.
As to whether he said that or not, for me, it's not crucial now. Thing here is, thing here is, it's been said that right now we want him out of office.
And why?
Because there are things that have leveled against him. Okay, fair enough. But what does this mean to the office itself? That's one. Two, someone has also said that this is not the way to go.
Exactly.
We feel like there should be other ways to go about it. But removing him in that instance is not good, because we feel like he's the best fit for it. Or we should give him the benefit of the doubt. Do you think that should be the case? If we are not removing him, is there any other way that we could probe into the accusations leveled against him? That's my question.
So that's why in my first point, I said the president has sent the petition to the Chief Justice for them to set up a committee and investigate into the matters. So it's not like they are going to impeach Kisei Jabin by force or by command or something. They are going to sit down, bring him on board, put some questions to him.
What if he's found guilty in no time?
That comes up with the Chief Justice. They are supposed to send the recommendations to the president for him to take action. So whatever goes on between the Chief Justice, Kisei Jabin, and the committee members, it all comes down to whatever the Chief Justice wants to decide on. If he is found guilty, maybe there can be ways and means to try and bail him out or to try and do something about it. So that's why I said it all comes down to the Chief Justice. If the Chief Justice sent the recommendation to the President that, we want him to be impeached, the President has no say whether to impeach the OSP. But if per the recommendations of the committee, it says that, let's not consider impeaching at the moment. Let's try and solve 1 or 2 cases before, and let's see what the future would hold for him. If he goes on to commit that mistake or to breach any law, then we take the law upon ourselves and impeach him or remove him out of office. But right now, it's up to the committee to decide on whatever Mr. Ejabin, the petition Mr. Amidu sent to the president. They're now coming to sit down, ask him questions, and demand some documents from him to help in the investigation. So right now, they are not saying they're going to impeach the OSP. So the committee will sit down and investigate everything and send the recommendations back to the president. So for now, I'm saying they're not going to impeach him right now because it hasn't been approved, or the committee hasn't approved anything based on the petition. Yes, the findings are not out yet. So let's all sit down and wait patiently for the findings. If he is guilty, maybe there can be some ways and means to try and solve problems or to try and talk to our staff. But if we think there is no space for him to bail himself out, then he leaves us with no room for us to impeach, because the law rightly says that if the OSP goes contrary to some breaches, he has to be removed from office. And this one is not like the president, or it's not like the Chief Justice wants him to be removed from the office. But like looking at his, I think back in November, or this year or something, he did a press brief.
The Anquan Ma press.
And he was saying a whole lot of stuff to the judicial to the judiciary, which is not right in law, because in Ghana you can't say something bad about the judiciary because they are an arm of government and they stand for justice. So whenever you come out in a press brief to talk about the judiciary, it means you are just trying to paint them black, which is not supposed to be so. Because the judicial service is kind of the, how do I say it, the heart of will I say Ghanaians? Yes, because whenever there is a case, whenever there is a problem, you send it to the judiciary for them to hear the case and for them to resolve or try and do anything. Because if whatever the court says becomes final, and so he coming out in a press briefing to talk about the judiciary was quite bad, and these things are part of the things leveled against him for him to be impeached by.
All right, nicely said. I think would leave it as such and hope to see with the findings of the committee coming together, and if he's found guilty, well, what can we say? Anyways, away from that, also in stories, Honorable Ablakwa petitions Shraj over alleged sale of 6 hotels by a SNIT to Brian Echampo. Now, getting into that story, so the Member of Parliament MP for North Tongu, Samuel Okujoto Ablakwa, has lodged a formal petition with the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, that's SHRAJ, to investigate allegations surrounding the sale of 6 hotels by the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, that's SNIT, to Food and Agriculture Minister Dr. Brian Echampon. So it's 60% stake in 6 hotels owned by SNIT to Rock City Hotel Limited, a company reportedly owned by Dr. Brian Echampon, who serves as the MP for Abetifi. Now, this morning, I just saw another story about that, and I think SNIT has also responded to that.
Yeah.
And, okay, so according to them, I have also drawn attention to, okay, so this is the MP talking, but this is what SNIT is saying. So for them, they feel that this, it's just a 60% stake, and that's Rock City. They made it known, and then Rock City came in very strong to get into the stakes. This is my question. My very first question is, what does this mean for SNIT itself? Because first of all, we had issues. We saw that SNIT came out and said that there were projections 2026.
Yeah.
They were about everybody who has their monies with them
Will not be able to
get it. And now we're seeing that with regards to this in particular. So based on the criteria set out in the RFP, Rock City Hotel submitted the best and strongest technical and financial proposal amongst those received. Consequently, it is in negotiation with SNIT to buy a 60% stake in each of the 4 hotels. That's Labadi Beach Hotel, La Palm Royal Beach Resort, Ridge Royal Hotel, and Elmina Beach Resort. Bids for Busia Beach Resort and the Trust Lodge were considered to be unsuccessful, so they are no longer part of the hotels covered in this process. Do you think that this allegation that Honorable is bringing towards, do you think it's in the right direction? Yes or no, and why?
Okay. I'll say it is yes, not because I belong to the NDC where Honorable belongs. Honorable Akufo-Addo has made a lot of exposés so far as the growth and the democracy of our country is concerned. Once upon a time, we have the biggest and most expensive hole in this country, right? And it came to a halt after an expose came out from Honorable Akufo-Addo. So anything coming from him, I will not have anything to say about it so much. I will just sit down and see how best he will be able to bring evidence to substantiate these allegations moving forward. But one thing that I know is Honorable Akufo-Addo is a member of parliament for the good people of Southtown, if I'm right. And he's doing so much to uncover, to unveil rots in our country. He has, through his work, the expensive hole we have in this country is now there. The question is, how did we get here? You see, I said earlier that we are in a confused state. And if you're in a confused state, the leadership of the country is a mess, or they are confused themselves. Because a practical example of the hole that he uncovered and is there today, the money used on that particular hole, do you know the number of schools that particular money can build? To talk of the hospital that money can build, to talk of the cheap compound that man can build. So, anything that comes from Honorable Akufo-Addo, we just sit down and support, we watch and see how best
Anything at all? What if his findings are wrong?
So, then we leave the issue to the best judges of this, because at the end of the day, one thing that we must know and establish is any allegation that comes out, there is an element of truth in it. It might not be entirely true, but there'll be linking concepts.
Out of 100, what's the percentage of the truth?
Maybe 74% out of 100. You understand? That's why I said that we shouldn't be judgmental. We shouldn't be conclusive on this matter. Let us wait. The same way the Ejapade document came up, we sat on national TV, we discussed it, and at the end of the day, we saw how far it came. To talk of the expensive hole in Accra, in Ghana, West Africa, Africa is there because of this man. So at the end of the day, we should just sit down and observe. We shouldn't be too much judgmental, and let's see how the days come by and the information that will come.
So according to the management of SNIT, the trust is seeking to partner a strategic investor to raise capital to invest in the hotels and also assist in their management. So this is why you're selling the stakes, okay? So, I mean, we see the headlines and we feel like, hey, but we dive into it. This is the reason why. So the primary objective of finding a strategic investor is to increase efficiency, profitability, shareholder value, and the long-term sustainability of the SNIT pension scheme. So this goes a long way to help the scheme itself. So according to SNIT, went through international competitive tendering processes as prescribed by the Public Procurement Act 2003, Act 663, as amended by Act 914 for the selection of a strategic investor. You read law. So you would understand it better. So the trust commenced the process. Now, mind you, though, they are saying that it's been perpetrated as 6, but it's not 6. It's rather 4. Not 6. So for them, a total of 9 companies responded to the advertisement by submitting proposals on the 23rd of March 2022 deadline. 6 out of the 9 were then shortlisted and issued with request for proposal. That's the RFP documents. The qualifying firms were invited for the opening of their financial proposals. Based on the technical and financial evaluation, the Rock City Hotel emerged the best. Based on the criteria set out in the RFP, Rock City Hotel submitted the best and strongest technical and financial proposal amongst those received. Now, what does this mean for Rock City itself? Before we come into the SNIT, what does it mean for them?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so it's a big win for them. It's a big win for them. Rock City, I don't really know much about them, but per the findings I made, it's owned by Mr. Brian, Dr. Brian Champon, who is
to be an MP
yes, and also a minister. So I think it's a big win for them because, as you read, there were 9 companies who had interest to invest into the buying of the 60% shares of the hotels listed there, and they emerged as the best and the strongest firm to do this investment with. I think, yes, it's a big win for them, and I would say congrats to the Rock City management and their staff, because if you have 9 companies striving for a government asset or like a government shares, it means you are performing in your peak, because in order for you to be able to buy a share or to even own a share in a government entity or like in a government in government interest, that means your management and you, the owner yourself, you are doing a very massive job. And because per the findings or per the reports from SNIT, it was like there are 9 firms who are actually competing for the sale of the 60% shares, and Rock City emerging as the best and the strongest firm. I would say, yes, they are doing their job well, and since they were able, because SNIT just didn't look at who this firm is being owed by, or that they were like, because of their strongest submission and their best findings and other stuff, they thought that, or they were, you know, like they thought that they imagined that Rock City is the best to be the investor. So if SNIT comes out to say this, then I would say I have no problem with it, because.
But why do you think the Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa would have issues with this and sees the reason why Shraj has to investigate into this?
So he has issues because the owner of Rock City is a public servant, and he's a minister and an MP holding a public office. So it raises questions about his worth and his finances. If the finance is being if the finance he has is being how do I even put it? If the finance he have is from the position he's holding, that is he's using that position to invest more into his Rock City management or his Rock City hotel. So that's why I think Honorable Okudjota-Brakwa thinks that the Honorable Dr. Brian Echampong is using illegal ways or means to procure his finance to invest into his business. That is why I think he has petitions started to investigate into Honorable Brian Echampong's deal with SNIT to buy 60% shares of the hotel that has been listed there. So I think yes, because he's a public servant, because he holds public office, I think Honorable Okudjota-Brakwa doesn't understand or doesn't know how he's able to lobby for the 60% shares to be sold to him. Because as a public holder or as a public service, you are entitled to kind of, let's say, your salaries or your other ways and means to get.
Does it have to do with the Office of Profit?
If a public servant is holding an office of profit, I don't think it's something that raises questions to people, because they are also, maybe one way or the other, they're also into business. They are also into other stuff which they make income from. So he having that amount of money to buy the 60% shares of the hotels being listed there, I don't think it raises questions of concern as to how he managed to get that amount of money, because he's a public servant or because he's an MP or because he's a minister. So I don't think Honorable Ablakwa's petition is kind of valid, because if I'm an MP and before becoming an MP I was into my own business, I had my own money, why can't I just do my own stuff and just not link my public service into my own personal
business?
Yes. So I don't think Honorable Ablakwa has anything to say about this thing, because it doesn't.
Our last, I see you nodding your head like. Anyways, our last topic briefly is that, I mean, with the economy and what we're finding ourselves in, and with the rising cases of people having kidney issues and whatnot, now the treatment basis, which of course we're talking about dialysis, the cost involved has increased from 380 to 491. In other reports, it's from 380 to like 700 and something. My take here is, and this has been approved by Parliament. So in fact, already people are of the view that, yes, of course, right here in Ghana, when it comes to our health system, we have a very poor health system. So then, what is making us increase the cost? And do we not also have a little bit of sympathy for people who are living with these conditions? Because I haven't seen anyone survive a kidney problem with dialysis. I haven't seen it. I've lost a lot of people who've gone for dialysis and they've lost their lives. A lot of them. And here lies the case where they are not able to even pay for this 380, because you may need 2 or 3 times or 4 times within a particular week. So if you're calculating that, that's going up. And now we've increased it. What informs this increase? What do you think informs this increase? And do you think it will help us in any way?
It will not help us. And I'm saying this because I have a friend or a colleague that goes through dialysis. So I have all the mouth and the teeth to talk about dialysis. You know, as weeks come by, I know how he struggles so much to get funds for his treatment. And one thing that I keep saying, that we are in a confused state. And if you ask me why, my brother is smiling. Some of the issues, we don't need to be doing too much politics with issues. Issues of our health, our education, our security. And which one? There are a lot of agencies that we do not need to politicize. Look, 7 years down the line, what have we seen in this country as a developing state? Not as a developed state, a developing state. we are in this country. The MPP took over. That they were the better managers of our economy. They were the better managers of our educational sector. They were the better managers of all our institutions. Now, due to the elections 2016, you have won elections. You have been given power. What then is your duty? Manage the affairs of the state so that the people you seek to rule or you govern should have small. I don't know which way to use. Some sort of flexibility in their livelihoods, in terms of transportation cost, health delivery, education, anything that has to do with life that will make life comfortable should be a priority for every government. I'm not doing too much, but I want us to make some basic analysis, right? During the NDC's time, the NDC and John Dramani Mahama was prioritizing building of what? Hospitals. He was prioritizing building of what? Schools, not in specific places, but across the country. Right? So that what? He's creating accessibility. Maybe the facility we have that is taking care of the dialysis patients is only few. So maybe in an instance, they might be taking advantage of the scarcity of their service to what? To impose more cost. So at the end of the day, imagine those health facilities that were built or are still being in progress, render the same service. So at the end of the day, you could see that there will be more or less like a competition. So if you're in a competitive market, you are forced to reduce your cost of operations. That is looking at it on a larger picture. The government has imposed so much hardship on us as citizens. And every single Ghanaian that will sit on national TV and be defending some of these undefend issues, the person should be looked at carefully because some of the things we can't defend them. Our health. Today, we struggle to buy food. If you go to the market today, you say, "Oh, beside buyer we buy say they see 30, I say buyer 35 cities. That is the reality. They came into office and they told us that they were better managers of our economy. Look, one policy that I like so much is the planting for food and job. 7 years down the line, and we are buying tomatoes, 10 cities in the market. This government has failed. They have failed. Let us put politics aside and let us face issues as citizens. Sometimes when I see reportage coming from the MPP, I feel so sad and disappointed as a Ghanaian. Because some of the issues, you can't defend it. And then the created monkey is still a monkey.
And so this 380 to 491, I mean, there's no real source or real intention. Why are we increasing this?
If we are buying 2 balls of tomatoes for 10 Ghana cedis, how much health service? Like, I might do more damage to some of these issues if I continue to speak. Because common food, not dialysis. All is due to the what? The high cost of living in our country. Once upon a time, we were buying a ball of kenke of 1 Ghana cedis. Today, a ball of kenke is 5 Ghana cedis. So we are in bad terms. We are in bad situations of our economy. So I will only pray that God should sustain those people. If they want to rely on the health services with this high cost, even sometimes the cost alone involved kills the patients. Because how will you need 450 cedis 3 times a week to go and attend? Look, my brother, things are not funny. We are not in the right direction.
Would you touch base on this? Is there a major reason why Parliament will approve this? The increase of this, because we've seen the rise and the scale of how people are getting this disease, and it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
So you just have like 30 seconds to wrap it up for us. 30 seconds. Why is this happening? This increase?
Okay. Yes.
Or the money we are using it to go and do something else. Maybe we don't know, so I want to know.
Okay. So for the increase, I also have no idea why there has been an increase in the price
cost of operations.
Yes. So I want to just remind my brother of something. We have a Parliament Select Committee on every sector of the economy. We have a Select Committee on health, which are not represented by only MPP MPs. There are also NDC MPs too there. So when you are shifting every blame to the government, I don't think it's right.
It is.
Because with the select committees, you have NDC MPs who sit on the select committee as members. We have MPP MPs who sit on the select committee as also members. So if these issues come up, don't just come and put all the blames on government, that government is increasing price and government doesn't care about the people and other stuff. It is something that was being done by the parliament. And parliament always consists of NPP, NDC MPs, even though we have the majority, but it still consists of the MPP, NDC MPs. So yes, as you were saying, we don't have to politicalize certain things like health and other stuff.
Right.
And that's why the government is actually doing its best through the National Health Insurance scheme.
What?
Well, that'll be a topic for another day, because if we're supposed to put the whole dialysis on national health insurance, which we are all pushing for, because why can't it be that?
I'm trying to say that the director of the National Health Insurance, Honorable Dr. Abuaji Da Costa, has brought up an initiative to cater for the cost of operations for people from 1st June, which he's taking steps, or he's in the process to. I think the parliament has released
An amount of money
$2 million
for
Ghana
supporting,
cedis
but
to
to when?
support for 6 months. So relax.
Would
So
that be passed soon?
by
receive that?
1st June,
June.
it would be in operations. And I would say kudos to the NHIS boss, Dr. Abuaji Da Costa, for this initiative, because he coming up to pay an amount of money for the cost of operating for dialysis.
We're waiting for that. We're waiting for that. My time is up, guys. Thank you so much for coming through. You know, I've wrapped up. I've wrapped up for you. Thank you so much for coming through. Yes, we'll invite both of you again, so we have the conversation, even with the NHIS too as well. Yes, most definitely. Okay, so thank you so much. And of course, we're wrapping it up with Lifestyle Daily. Up next is The Plug. And we'll be doing something special with award-winning urban gospel artist Kobe Sam. We'll be right back.